I think you're the 14th or 15th person we are interviewing in these last 4 5 days. And if I were to, rank you on the basis of how much knowledge you possess, I'll put you on second.
Okay, thanks. Do I think I'm getting in?
Yeah.
Probably I am a little confident of possibly getting in. I just
Okay.
think.
Okay. Just maintain the same level of calm and composure. Let's start.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, so let's not waste time. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Uh, I am Debarnab Chatterjee, and I come from a small town in West Bengal called Shuri, which is about 200 kilometers from Kolkata. So I belong from a middle class joint family, and I I studied in a school that belongs to my town, and it was affiliated with the Cambridge International Examinations. So I appeared for my class 10 examinations in 2019, and I appeared for my class 12 examinations in 2021. So I had four subjects in my class 12. I had mathematics, I had economics, I had English, and I had history, which was predominantly the 20th century European history. Apart from academics, I'm also into uh, writing. I'm a passionate writer. I love watching movies and I love playing cricket. Though it's just as a hobby, uh, I have not played it to a very high extent.
So you're a writer. So what do you write about? Poems or stories? What do you write?
Yeah. So I love writing short stories, and I also love writing a bit of social commentary. On different issues. I like expressing my opinion.
Okay. So can you tell us about your any short story, your favorite short story?
Yeah, so uh, in fact, I wrote a short story about it. It was a little dystopian in nature. So it
Okay.
was about I in that story I talked about the technological domination that's happening very soon, and how artificial intelligence and machine learning may replace a lot of the human skills that are now in play. So
Mm-hmm.
in such a circumstance, how one person who has been rendered useless by the rise of this technological revolution, how he feels and how he goes about his life. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was one of my favorites. And this, in fact, I wrote for competition, the Commonwealth Essay competition that is hosted by the Royal Commonwealth Society of London, and I
Mm-hmm.
got a gold award for this also.
Okay. Okay. So do you like publish your stories on some platform?
Yeah, so I maintain my own blog on Medium, which is a
Mm-hmm.
popular blogging website,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I am also a published writer on the Statesman.
Okay. Okay. You said you
Okay.
like movies. So okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Arnav, you can continue.
Uh, so have you asked him about cricket? Okay. So you play cricket, right?
yeah, yeah.
So do you play it like for as a fun sport, or were you on the team of your school or something?
Well, so our school did not have a very strong cricket team as such. Within our school, we used to play, but we did not have a team that was dedicated separately for the school. So as a result of that, I could never be part of the cricket team. But yeah, I do play cricket for the fun that it gives me as a hobby because I love playing it, and
Okay.
also because of the health aspect of it. It allows me to stay fit.
Okay, good. Are you a bowler or a batsman?
Well, I consider myself to be more of a bowler than a batsman.
Okay, good. So can you explain what is like Chinaman? What type of
Yeah.
bowling is it?
So so Chinaman is a kind of spin. I think I'm not very well acquainted with the exact technicalities of it, but I know that Chinaman is a kind of spin delivery, which is a little mysterious to read for the batsman. And one of the current Indian cricketers, Kuldeep Yadav, used to be called the Chinaman because of this particular style of delivery that is
Yes.
specialized in.
So can you name a few more like uh, famous Chinaman bowlers?
Uh, I don't know. I don't exactly recall any other Chinaman bowler as such.
Can you explain a carom ball to me?
Uh, well, I again don't know the exact technicalities of it. So, I mean, I play, gully cricket sort of thing. So, this sort of, yeah, I do follow cricket, but I have not
So
been able to follow it due to my pressure of the studies and all. But
yeah,
I
so
do try to.
right now India is playing against whom? Can you tell me?
Yeah. So there are two simultaneous Indian teams now.
Hmm.
One team has been playing against Sri Lanka, and we just ended our tour, I think, day
Hmm.
before yesterday. And the
Hmm.
other team, that is being considered the main team, so to say, that is in England to play a series of tests.
Hmm. Hmm. So can you tell me this? Can you tell me more about this team which went to Sri Lanka? Like who is the
Yeah,
captain,
the captain of that team is Shikhar Dhawan.
vice captain?
Vice captain is Bhuvaneshwar Kumar.
Okay. There were a lot of debutants, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Can you name them?
yeah. So in the ODI format, Surya Kumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan debuted. In the T20 format, we saw many more debuts owing to the COVID scare that happened within the team. So,
Hmm.
for example, Nitish Rana, Devdutt Padikkal,
Hmm.
Rituraj Gaikwad, K.
Hmm.
Gautam, all of these people debuted.
Hmm.
And Chetan Sakaria.
Hmm. Um, do you know about Cred? It's a company.
Yeah, I know of it because it used to come in the IPL commercials. So,
Correct. Correct.
as far as I know, Crade is like a it's like a management platform where you can manage your finances. You can, I think, store your credit and credit card and debit card details, and I think you can manage. I've never used it,
Mm,
so I'm not very.
that's not really the thing. But my question is, so Cred is famous for its offbeat advertising. Okay, so
Yeah,
so in one of their ads, there were some legends from 90s, some cricketers in a
yeah.
boy band. So can you name those three legends?
In a boy band,
Yeah,
could you just give me maybe a few seconds to try
yeah,
to
yeah. Sure.
recall?
Take your time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Um, I don't recall the cricketers, but I do remember Rahul Dravid's ad, which appeared about the
Yeah,
Indira
yeah,
Nagar ka
that is.
Gunda. So,
Yeah, yeah, correct. There's one more
but
ad.
I don't recall the 90s cricketers. No, I don't recall at this point. If I do in the course of
Have you
the,
seen that ad?
uh, I don't exactly at this moment recall seeing the ad. So for that only probably I cannot recall.
Okay, okay. So can you tell us what were your topics in
Uh,
math?
Yeah, sure. So we had higher algebra. I mean, the more advanced bits of algebra, where trigonometry, bit of coordinate geometry, calculus, and that's pretty much it. And permutation, combination,
okay,
probability.
okay.
Okay, can you tell us
Can
the
you define
definition of a
function
function?
simply?
Yeah, so I don't exactly recall a very mathematical definition at this point, but I will still try to take my shot at trying to explain it. So a function is a set of operations you do on a number to produce a resultant number. So the set of operations that you do, that is called the function.
Okay, okay. Can you tell us the differentiation of tan inverse x?
Yeah. So the differentiation of tan inverse x is 1 by 1 plus x square. 1 plus x square whole thing in the denominator.
So can you name your hometown? I didn't get your hometown.
Yeah,
What's
so
it called?
it's a small town called Shuri, Suri.
Shuri.
Yeah. That's right.
SURI.
Yeah.
Okay. So which is the closest district place?
District place. What do you mean by that? I mean,
So you have districts in a state, right?
yeah,
So the
yeah,
district center. So is Shuri
yeah.
a district
Shuri is the
center?
district center of Birbhum. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. And how far is? So can you tell me the approximate location of Shuri? So I know the map of West Bengal. Now can you tell me where's Shuri?
Yeah, sure. So you can try to visualize Shuri as being uh, on the borders of Jharkhand and West Bengal,
Okay.
and you, if you know the position of Messenger in the map, uh,
Of
of Messenger Dam. Okay, it's all
no,
right if
I
you don't know about it. It's all right. You can think of Shuri as being just beside Jharkhand and
okay.
on the central western region of West Bengal, so to say.
Okay, okay. I understood. So it's more like it's just next to Jharkhand, but on the West
Exactly.
Bengal side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay.
absolutely.
So you mean the next, so the district to the right of, to the left of Shuri is actually something from Jharkhand, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Can you tell me how many seats did BJP win in these elections?
Uh, I don't remember the exact figures, but I think it
Hmm.
was in the 70s that the BJP won the seat 7.
Okay. Can you tell me what are the total number of seats in West Bengal?
Yeah. So we have a total of 294 seats in the Legislative Assembly, but
Hmm.
this year, due to two candidates dying after contracting COVID in two constituencies, those got
Okay.
postponed. So elections happened for 292 seats.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Uh, and so, what were the other parties involved in West Bengal? Can you tell me about the political demographic of West Bengal?
Yeah. Uh, so this year the elections we had in the months of April, uh,
Hmm.
predominantly March and April. So,
Hmm.
in my opinion, the elections were quite polarized because
Hmm.
we saw that there was TMC, which is Mamata Banerjee's party, which won the a landslide victory, and
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
she got a lot of seats, much more than 200.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
BJP, on the other hand, I got somewhere in the 70s. I don't remember the
Hmm.
exact figure. And there was only one seat, I think, that was won by the Indian Secular Front, ISF,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
had joined a coalition with the CPM and the Congress.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, so that is pretty much the current political scenario in
Hmm.
Bengal.
Wasn't CPM a party from West Bengal? Then, so if I'm not wrong, a few years, like I think 30 years before, CPM had a stronghold in West Bengal.
Yes,
So,
yes, you're
can you
right.
tell me who was the CPM chief minister back then?
Yeah. So we had two CPM chief ministers
Hmm.
throughout the 34 years that they reigned in West Bengal. So
Okay.
for the majority of the time, though, it was somebody called Jyoti Basu, who
Hmm.
in fact was the longest serving chief minister in India at that time. And
Okay.
later on, his successor was somebody called Buddhadev Bhattacharya.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. So, why do you think CPM is out of the political contention right now? Like, wasn't it the biggest party 30 years ago? What has happened? What do you think? Why has CPM lost its control in West Bengal?
Well, so me just being a student, it's very difficult for me to fathom all the dynamics of this issue. So it will be a little wrong to comment, but I'll still try to give my opinion on what I feel just as a bystander. So what I feel is CPM ruled for an extraordinarily long time. They ruled for 34 years, and uh, in the end, I think CPM did engage in a lot of welfare programs in the state. Uh, but in the end, I think Mamata Banerjee played a masterstroke. That was there were two primary conflicts that stirred up in West Bengal towards the end of the CPM, right? One was the Nondigram conflict, and the other was the Singur Tata Nano factory conflict that happened. So I think because the CPM government, was more socialist in approach, they were not very welcoming to industries, and because of the lack of industries in a state, the natural consequence was there wasn't enough employment generated, although the population size was increasing. So I
Okay,
think
okay,
because of
that's
that,
fine. So they born up. Tell me, you talked about the Tata Nano thing, the factory. So where was it shifted then?
I think it was shifted to some part of Gujarat. I don't remember the
Okay,
exact location, but I think it was in the state of Gujarat.
okay, okay, okay. And can you tell me why do you want to get into IPM Indore?
Yeah. So I have always considered myself to be more of a generalist than a specialist. So far in
Hmm.
my life, I have always enjoyed learning a lot of subjects. Uh, So I think the IPM curriculum closely mirrors my likings because it has a very diverse curriculum. So it imbibes the social sciences, the humanities, a lot of
Hmm.
mathematics and statistics.
Hmm.
So in a way, I'll be able to defer the decision of what I exactly want to pursue as a career, or in a
Hmm.
specific direction in education until much later after I get a flavor of all the subjects I study. And I think
Hmm.
that will also help me make a more informed choice. Uh,
Hmm.
in addition, I also think that IIM Indore is giving not only a very good academic profile to a student, but also it's a melting pot of a lot of cultures. There are students from diverse cultures who are coming here. The faculty is also probably from different parts of India, and probably there are
Hmm.
international faculty. So being
Hmm.
exposed to all this culture, I think, will make me more accepting, will make me much more empathetic towards other cultures, and
Hmm.
probably will broaden my perspective.
Hmm. So Devarna, what are you? So that means you have not decided what you're going to do after 5 years, right?
Uh, well, I haven't yet decided on a very firm footing on what I want to do, but I have a
Hmm.
very broad direction. I have a very broad understanding of what I want to do. Uh,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Tell us.
uh, so I feel that, yeah, I mean, I cannot outline an exact career option I would probably like to pursue
Hmm.
because, as I told you, I feel I am more of a journalist and I would like to get a flavor of a
Correct.
lot of the things that I learned.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yeah, I want to work in a field which is a confluence of three main factors. At least that's what I
Hmm.
have in my mind when I think of a career. So I think
Hmm.
one of the most important fields is that it has to be something that I enjoy doing. I mean, if I
Hmm.
don't enjoy doing something, I'm not going to be good at doing that. So naturally, the second thing is that I have to be good at doing that. I mean, if
Hmm.
I like something but it's beyond my reach, it does not give me
Hmm.
enough satisfaction. The satisfaction
Hmm.
will wear off very soon. And the
Hmm.
third and the most important factor I feel is I have to be help to people. It's not something that, I mean, I cannot be in a field where a very myopic and very selfish stance I cannot adopt.
Hmm.
So I have
Hmm.
to be
Hmm.
help to other people. So I
Hmm.
would like to work in a sphere which is the confluence of all these three factors.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So you had European history, right?
Yes, yeah, European history of the 20th century I had.
Okay, 20th century. Can you tell me about the Bolshevik Revolution in
Yeah,
brief?
sure. Uh, so the Bolshevik revolutions happened in the 1917. So prior to the Bolshevik Revolution, Russia, as it was called then, uh, was ruled by hereditary monarchy for a very long time, the Romanovs. So they had been ruling Russia for an extraordinarily long time, and the Romanovs were not reforming
What
Russia
what
enough.
were the rulers called?
The kings were called the czars.
Okay, yeah,
So
continue.
yeah, so the Romanovs are ruling for a very long time, but in that, I mean, the Romanovs are not reforming Russia very fast, whereas the Industrial Revolution had already erupted in other parts of Europe, and they were industrializing very fast. There was employment being generated. Russia remained a backward country, and in addition, towards the end of their rule, the Romanovs made a lot of mistakes. Tsar Nicholas II made a lot of mistakes. For example, he involved Russia in the sorry, not the second, but the First World War, which was a very precarious situation for Russia because they were not well equipped to fight that war. So there were a lot of factors that went into play, and there were two revolutions that happened in 1970. So there was a February Revolution where the Romanov ceded power to a provisional government, and it was ruled by a lawyer called Alexander Kerensky. And then finally, the Bolsheviks says their coup in October-November month of 1917 and took power from the provisional government and established a communist government.
Okay, so you mentioned that Russia was far behind the other European countries at those times. So why was it the only superpower in the world? Like, how was it the only superpower in the world at that time?
Prior to the Bolshevik Revolution, I don't think Russia was a superpower. I would say Russia was a superpower or became a superpower in the global political landscape only during the Cold War. So prior to that, I mean,
Okay, okay, okay.
before the
Yeah, yeah.
1917 revolution, the superpowers were primarily the United Kingdom, where the Industrial Revolution took off in the first place. The United States, France, Germany, these sort of countries are considered to be the superpowers. But I think that due to the onset of the Cold War, there were massive technological and economic developments that happened in USSR, which propelled them to become a superpower.
Okay. So, whom do you think that actually won the World War II? Many people actually believe that the Russians or the Soviet Union did win the World War II, but the other side of the world, they think that the Americans or the Britishers, the uh, NATO alliance won the war. So, whom do you think can be held more responsible for winning the war?
So I would say that none of well, I mean, this issue again has it's a very dynamic issue, and I cannot take a very myopic view of this. But I would say that none of these sides probably won. The major contributing factor that led to the conclusion of World War II was probably the Russian winters. The Germans had attacked Russia, and the with the onset of the Russian winter, which is to be very harsh, the Germans virtually got crippled. So they were having to fight a war on two fronts, with the USA and the Allied forces on the west and closer to their country, and with the Russians on the east, inside the Russian hinterlands. So I think if this two front war would not have happened, Germany would not have got militarily crippled. So I would say that it was probably the Russian winter which finally won the world war more than any of the sides did.
Okay, okay, good, good. Do you know about like the Afghanistan situation currently?
Yeah, I'm aware of it. Yeah. So
So was it a part of the Soviet Union ever?
yeah. So the current situation has its roots back to the USSR's conquest of Afghanistan and the establishment of the Mujahideen to fight the USSR invaders. So in the I don't remember the exact year again, but I think at the height of the Cold War, Afghanistan was a very strategic point
Yeah,
in
it's
Asia.
yeah.
So USSR went forward and conquered Afghanistan. And prior to that, Afghanistan was a very beautiful country, but with the onset of the Russian conquest, it became a very rugged state. So I think that uh, after since the USSR invaded and the other country, I mean, since Afghanistan was again predominantly a Muslim country and Islamic country, uh, the inhabitants of Afghanistan felt a compulsion to fight against the evangelists. So they set up the Mujahideen, and uh, now the organization that we know as Taliban, that has essentially evolved from that Mujahideen, but now it has become much more fundamentalist in nature, much more extremist in nature.
Okay, so one last final question.
Yeah, sure.
Whom do you think can be like held more responsible for uh, the formation of Taliban, the US funding of Mujahideen or the USSR keeping on the fight?
I think both sides are equally responsible because, uh, firstly, if the USSR had not invaded, this Afghanistan would not have been in the state. Afghanistan would have been probably a very prosperous country. But at the same time, US funded the Mujahideen because it became Afghanistan became a battleground between communism and capitalism at that time. So by funding the Mujahideen, they essentially inculcated terrorism, because it was slowly going into a more fundamentalist state, as I told before also.
Okay, great, great. Okay. So let's
Yeah,
ask you like some current affairs. Okay, Mangesh,
yeah.
you can
So,
ask.
Debarnab will give you a topic, and you have to speak for 45 seconds to 1 minute on it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And your topic is Pegasus scam.
Should I begin?
You can take some time to think if you want, or else you
Okay.
can begin.
Okay. So the Pegasus scam, I think, is quite instructive in this current scenario, in the current world that we are standing in, because it the Pegasus scam. I mean, it has been discovered just of late, very recently, but the spyware that seems to be affecting a lot of people's devices, it seems to have been in play for the last 3 to 4 years, and they had been capturing very private data without us really knowing it. So that just shows how vulnerable we are because of our dependence on technology, how vulnerable we have become to this sort of threats. And we don't even realize when we are vulnerable. It gets in without requiring any sort of permission or without requiring any click from the user, but it totally changes uh, how the privacy that we are surrounded by. It perforates the entire privacy. It collects data. So I think standing in the in the in this age of technology, it should be instructive, and it should uh, act as a precedent of what can come if we rely too much on technology or if we don't apply necessary
Okay,
safeguards.
okay. Do you know the country of origin of the Pegasus scam?
Uh, I'm not very sure, but I think it's Israel.
Okay, correct. And the company's or the organization's name or initials?
I don't know this. Is
Okay,
it just
okay.
Pegasus? I'm not very sure.
No, 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 it
Okay,
is
okay.
not.
I did not know that. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. So do you know that we have Olympics going on right now?
Yes.
Did India win any medals?
Yeah, India already has won one silver. Mirabai Chanu has won it in weightlifting, and we have also got assured of another medal yesterday, just yesterday, when Lavlina uh, qualified to the semi-finals of boxing, women's boxing.
Okay. Can you tell me? Okay, is cricket played in the Olympics?
No, cricket is not played in the Olympics.
Was it ever played?
No, it was never played.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, then why not?
Uh, I don't know why it is not played exactly, but I think that the other sports that are played in Olympics, they have a much more wide presence in the world than cricket is. Though I'm not very well read, this is just what I think it may be a reason. So cricket, at least initially, was played only by a few countries, uh, which are primarily the colonies of Great Britain, to be more specific. For example, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, uh, South Africa, Australia, England itself. These were primarily the countries that.
So,
Okay, good.
so
So
wait,
can you?
that
Okay.
just a second. So you mean colonies of England, right? And we have a dedicated games for that Commonwealth Games. So now, why not cricket and Commonwealth Games?
Again, I think that I mean, for such a I mean, even the Commonwealth Games includes a lot of the countries, and which are often not part of the Commonwealth. I think now it includes countries, I think, which are not part of the Commonwealth. I'm not very sure, but I think so. And
Okay.
for uh, sport of the magnitude of cricket to be included into such a global sports uh, meet,
Hmm.
it has to have a lot of member countries, I believe.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
so
Can you tell me who is the railways minister? The new railways minister?
yes, it is Ashwini Vaishnav.
Okay. Uh, can you tell me who is the HRD minister?
Uh, yeah, the education minister is currently Dharmendra Pradhan.
Okay. What was Dharmendra Pradhan's portfolio before?
He was in charge of petroleum, I think.
Okay, then who's the new in charge of petroleum?
I don't remember his exact name. I don't remember. I don't recall at this point. If I do at the course of the interview, I'll let you know.
Sure, sure, sure. Okay. One last question. Do you know who is the Minister of Sports and Youth Affairs?
Yeah, it is Anurag Singh Thakur.
Okay, and what was his previous portfolio?
I think he was Minister of State for Finance.
Okay,
Minister of
perfect.
Finance.
Yeah. One more
Okay.
question.
Yeah,
One more question, Arnav. So, recently, two businessmen went to space on the same
yeah,
day. Can you name
yeah,
them?
yeah. Jeff Bezos went to space with his company Blue Origin, and
Hmm.
as far as I remember, the the founder of Virgin Atlantic. I don't recall his name exactly at this point, but
Hmm.
I think he also went to space.
Correct, correct, correct. So, do you know that with Richard Branson and his crew on board, there was one Indian. Can you name her? There were
No,
six
I don't.
people. There was one Indian. So, can you name her?
No, I don't know this.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, okay, okay. No problem. Yeah, Arnav, you can continue.
May
So,
I just make a point? Extremely sorry for interrupting. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I did remember the petroleum minister that you mentioned just in the
yeah.
course of
Go
the
ahead.
interview. Uh, so I think it's currently Hardeep Singh Puri.
Correct, perfect. And can you tell me Hardeep Singh Puri's previous portfolio?
No, I don't know that. Sorry.
Take a guess. Take a guess.
Uh,
Take your time.
Probably.
Think.
Okay. I'd say he was probably in charge of mines. I'm not very sure. It's just a wild guess. I think.
No, 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 no. He
Okay.
was civil aviation. I'm just,
Okay. Okay.
okay. Yeah. Arnav, we can continue.
yeah. So, do you know about the fields after MBA? Like, which one would you like to work in?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I am aware of some of the fields after MBA, like finance, HR, marketing. But as I mentioned in the course of the interview, I want to again understand myself better, understand my own preferences better before making a very nitpicky choice on what exactly I want to go for. So and I also think that if let's say I become an entrepreneur, I will have to incorporate all these fields. An entrepreneur really has to be very good at all these fields and understand the dynamics of all these fields. So I would not say that okay, this is one field that stands out specifically for me. But yeah, I after 5 years when I feel that I have understood
Okay, okay, it's
management
okay.
better.
Can you
So,
name a few companies which recruit from IIM Indore?
Yeah, sure. So a lot of the investment banks recruit from Ahmedabad, for example, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, such companies recruit. Apart from that, the normal commercial banks that we have, they also recruit. For example, ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, HDFC, these banks. FMCG companies also like Nestle, then ITC,
Can you tell
such
me the full
companies.
form
it's
of
okay, it's
FM?
okay.
Can you tell me the full form of FMCG?
Yeah, it's fast moving consumer goods.
Why should we not take you in IPM? What are your demerits?
Okay. Uh, so I mean, I am nowhere perfect, so I have my own follies. So I feel that, very honestly speaking, I think that I tend to get a little extroverted. So when I begin talking, and if it's on a topic that I really enjoy talking about, I often tend to lose restraint of myself and tend to talk a bit too much and go a little overboard.
But isn't it good for a manager to be an extrovert?
Not really. I think that to make a good manager, you must also be a good listener. If you only can take in a lot of other people's opinions, you probably make for a good manager. Only then you can make for a dynamic manager. And I think a person who is extroverted probably makes for a not the ideal listener. So I think that's a field that I'm a little weak at. Uh, the other field I think is I tend to get a little impulsive at points. So I tend to act more on my whims than thinking very rationally, or tend to override my rational decision. So I think again, since at the end of a management program, you either become a manager or a businessman. I think you should have more control over your actions. You should be
So
more.
yeah, yeah. So we got that. So can you tell us how are you, going towards working on this weakness of yours? Are you doing something? What are you doing? Can you just elaborate?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I am actually working quite actively upon this. So let's say whenever I'm part of a social group and there's a conversation going on, instead of always trying to contribute to that conversation, I try to uh, take something from that conversation. I try to understand other people's viewpoints, empathize with them, try to understand the intellectual merits of their arguments. So that is one aspect that I'm talking about, and the other aspect that I want to address is the point about impulsiveness. So I I think that whenever I feel that I'm at the brink of making a impulsive decision, I'm trying to pause back and reconsider what I am doing, because I mean, I do understand that okay, I'm making an impulsive decision, but I still go forward with that. That shows a certain lack of control over the over what I do. So I'm trying to control that by you know uh, again, every point trying to do checks and balances.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
so I think we can end the interview.
Yeah, it
Yeah, yeah.
was
Okay.
Yeah,
fine.
So,
It was
I'm
lovely talking with you.
yeah. Let
so
me give you some analysis.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
wait,
Okay,
wait,
I'm
wait, wait,
really
wait, wait.
sorry. I had some power cuts and all, so I
Debarnab, can you
couldn't.
tell us how was your
Yeah,
interview first? How do you think? How did it go?
yeah. So I think again, whatever I talked about one of my folios, extroversion. I think I probably talked a bit more than I should have. Than is optimal. So
no, no. I
probably
think it was perfect.
It was
So
perfect.
no, can you tell me like how did you feel like how was the overall interview experience? Was it good on your side or like
I felt it went well. I mean, I got a positive vibe about it after giving it. I felt a bit of satisfaction already,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I would say that if I was a little more learned on some of the initial topics that Mangesh was questioning me about, let's say the trade ad or uh, a bit about cricket, I think it would have been better, because the first impression probably could
Yeah,
have
yeah.
come across a
So
little better.
okay, so I'll give you my analysis.
Yeah, sure.
How firstly tell me how much did you like attempt in IPMAT Indore and what are you expecting?
Okay, so I attempted all 10 questions in the first section, and I am positive I'll get 8 correct. Uh, and the second section, I attempted 14 sums. It was a little difficult, I felt.
Hmm, hmm.
And I think I'll get 10 to 11 correct. May I go up to
Yeah,
12?
that's great. Yeah, last section.
Uh, Last section, I attempted 29. I just left one para jumble. And I
Yeah.
would say that I'll get a maximum, I mean, sorry, minimum of 22, 23, maybe that level.
Okay, great. So did you like dedicatedly prepare for IPMAT?
Yeah, I did. I was quite, I mean,
Was
I
it your
love the course.
first?
So, yeah, it was my first attempt.
No, no, no. First
No, no,
preference, first
first
choice.
Yeah,
priority.
yeah, it was. It was. I mean, there was my first preference. So,
Yeah, so okay, I'll be honest. If you will score like how much you're expecting, then you are definitely getting in because your knowledge was quite adequate. I think your knowledge in most of the fields is commendable, and I personally think your attitude, your personality, it's great, and that is what basically the interviewers are looking for. So you don't need to worry. I think you can just keep it up. Yeah, I'll suggest to like look at a few concepts in your mathematics textbook. I mean, just look at the basic definitions and concepts. Don't go solving questions. You don't need to worry about it. Just look at the concepts and of course, cover as much GK as you can. Like, firstly, cover the cabinet ministers, and then, of course, your local ministry. I mean, your state ministry, and of course, then the current affairs, like, which are very into highlight, very much into highlight. Um, I think that's it. You'll easily get in
Okay.
if you like scored good in.
Yeah,
What
that
was your
aptitude test.
percentage?
In my class 10th, I got 91.14%, and in my class 12th, I got 88.5%.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I
It's
don't
fine
think it will
considering
be an issue. Yeah.
it's Cambridge International Board, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It is amazing then. We know how difficult it is. It is amazing. So don't worry about that. But yeah, do mention that you're from Cambridge board because
yeah, yeah.
it's very uncommon. I think I am from Mumbai, but I think in Mumbai we have just 7 or 8 schools offering
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Cambridge. In such a big city like Mumbai, we have just 7 or 8 schools. So
yeah,
it is a very big thing. We didn't ask you questions on movies, but then you can expect some questions on movies. So
yeah,
what interviews will do is when they ask you about your introduction, they might pick up any point and then start asking questions on you. So, like,
mm,
we picked up cricket because we knew stuff about cricket. Cricket's in business right now, so that's why we asked you cricket.
yeah,
And we asked you about writing because you said you're a writer, and then the medium thing that makes sense. I know about medium. I do read medium, so yeah, great stuff. About economics, we didn't ask you economic questions as such, but then make sure you know economics. So you have had microeconomics and macro both, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So are you
Yeah,
are you
economics
well
was
versed
one
with
of
it?
my strong suit, I'd say.
Okay, okay. So in macroeconomics, we have terms like repo rate, reverse repo rate,
Yeah, yeah,
and those are changed every year by the RBI.
yeah.
So just make sure you know the current rates or something like that, or
Okay,
something like GDP, inflation rate. These basic important parameters, economic indicators. Just make sure you know about India because these are all in news right now, and these are important. And because of the COVID, there are a lot of fluctuations. You are aware of that. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
just know about them.
yeah,
Know about the COVID situation in your city, in your state, in the country. Know how much vaccination is done, what are the available vaccines. I'm pretty sure you must be knowing, but I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
cross questioning and confirming with you if you
yeah,
know
yeah.
about all of these.
Sure.
Uh, uh, yeah, have an opinion on. So whenever we ask you an opinion on any government related question, we are just interested in your opinion. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong because it's your opinion. Nobody can question you unless you back it up with proper data. So
Yeah. All right.
question about how did the government handle the COVID situation?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Now, I would say they did not handle it properly. Why? Because lockdown it was harsh, but then they could have maybe so they just they didn't give any respite for laborers and the
yeah,
people in the lower sections of the society to move back to their villages and all, which created a lot of ruckus, which could have been avoided if let's say they would have given 2 or 3 days of respite.
yeah,
That is my opinion. Then again. The vaccination thing, even now the vaccination is not at its peak. I think every day we need to administer 9 million doses, but still we are, I think, 3 million, 4 million, or some days 5 million. That's what we are going on. So I have data to back my opinions. So similarly, whenever they ask you any question, make sure okay, you have your opinion, you have your logic behind it, and the logic can be in any form. It can be data, it can be example, anything. So just remember this small framework: your opinion, your logic. Logic is comprises of examples or any numerical data, and rest you know about your. I asked you, so I like geography. That's why I asked you about your district, place, your city. So that's fine. Maybe they can ask you about West Bengal's culture or
yeah.
some specialities about West Bengal. So just be aware, have an answer about that. What do your parents do? I forgot. Your
Both are teachers.
dad. Okay, both are teachers in which grade
Yeah.
do they teach?
So my dad is a teacher of economics in class 11 and 12, and my Mom is a teacher of vocational. So, yeah,
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So Justin, so do you know what do they do exactly, and what are, so the vocational part is something interesting, offbeat.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Economics, all of us know. So probably they'll ask you something more on those lines. So maybe today, tonight, at the dinner table, you could ask your mom, what do you actually do in vocational studies? What are the different career
Yeah.
paths? What are the kind of people? Why do people get into vocational studies? Because usually people get into, BA or BCom or sciences. They never get into vocational in cities. In rural areas they do get, but in cities they generally don't. So just have an
Hmm.
opinion about that. Rest, I think, yeah, it's fine. I mean, everything was amazing. Just
Hmm.
mention your board percentage in your introduction. I think,
Okay,
did
okay.
you? I'm not sure if you did.
I did not. I
Did
did
you?
not.
Yeah, so do mention that, because
No, I
90%
think it was perfect. I don't think he needs to include it. His introduction was good.
okay, okay. Rest, Debarnab, I think, how was your IPM Rohtak exam?
That was also good. I qualified for the PI. Uh,
Yeah, so
I
how many
think
did you
I get
attempt?
in the. I attempted 105 of them. Uh,
Amazing. Okay, and accuracy?
and I would say probably if you ask me about the net score, I think I'll get 320 plus.
Yeah, great, great. 320 is good. So,
Yeah.
see, I'll be honest. You are from like a small place, like a small city.
Hmm.
You come from a humble background, so they won't
Hmm.
be pestering you a lot. So
Hmm.
you don't need to worry. Just be confident, like today.
Yeah.
And if you see, you have knowledge about what you do, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
You have knowledge in your curriculum and the things that you do. So that is what matters. And trust me, if they ask you like 10 questions, it will be hardly a 10 to 12-minute interview.
Hmm.
If they ask you 10 questions, six will be like about yourself only, about what you do and who you actually are. And even if you are not able to answer like those four questions, those academic ones, then don't worry, you can still get in. But
Okay.
yeah, please try if you can, like revise as much as you can,
Okay.
and then I think you can get in.
Yeah.
Devara,
I
what
just
do you
like.
think? Would you get it?
Sorry.
Ask a question. Ask a question.
Yeah. So Indore has a 35% weightage on interview. So if I
Hmm.
ask you to give me a score out of 35, just to assess myself, how much will you give me?
So
See
actually, we
if
don't know how the scoring system works. Okay, that is internal, so we are not sure about that. But then, if you ask, so you're
I'll
like,
give you an estimate. I'll give you an
okay,
estimate from what I know, from like whatever knowledge I grabbed like regarding CAT and all. So 35% is like a very big thing. So, and if I talk about PI, if I had to give you marks, I am really a critical guy. So I would give you like a solid 8.5 out of 10.
and
And
if
that's
you
like
are,
one of the
yeah,
highest I have given so far.
okay, I will tell you a different perspective. So I think you are the 14th or 15th person we are interviewing in these last 4 5 days. And if I were to, rank you on the basis of how much knowledge you possess, I'll put you on second.
Okay. Thanks.
There's just one guy who we talked for, like, so we had done a surprise interview. He turned up for that too, and we were out of questions. He was just answering anything we were asking. So, but two is really nice. I'm not saying ki you are. I'm not saying that you won't get in. Obviously, you'll get in. But then, if you want an honest opinion, that's what I'm gonna say.
Sure.
And what Arnav said, that is actually the thing. So that is an internal thing. So authorities wouldn't tell you that there is a board percentage, but internally they do have some weightage to your 10th and 12th board marks, because academic profile matters to everybody, especially to Indore. It does matter. So maybe internally they have that too. And if I were to give you out of 20, I'd give you 18. Yeah. And your IPMAT went really well, so you don't need to worry.
Okay.
It's not like you are on the you just passed the cutoffs. No, you're way ahead of cutoff. So chill, don't worry. One last question: do you think you'll get in?
Do I think I'm getting in?
Yeah.
Probably I am a little confident of possibly getting in. I just
Okay.
think.
Okay. Just maintain the same level of calm and composure. Don't be overconfident. Don't be underconfident.
Yeah.
The way you are, just stay like that. You're amazing.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can leave. If you have any questions, you can ask us right now,
All the
or else.
best.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Do your
Okay.
best.
I don't have any question at this point, but if I do, I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't forget to
Uh,
revise. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
don't give that don't forget to give that last push.
Okay. Okay.
Also, cricket was there in Olympics just 1 year in 1900,
Oh, okay. I
England
remember it.
versus
Okay.
France.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I wasn't 100% sure about that, so I googled up, and they did have cricket in one Olympics, the first one, 1900. Hmm. Cool then. All the best. Sleep
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Bye bye.
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 Yeah. Bye.